very proud to say that we're starting a new book. We're moving on to Mazal Tov. Very great accomplishment. The power of a few minutes a day. והמלך דוד זקן בה בימים ויכסוהו בבגדים ולא ייחם לו. The Torah tells us that David was old and he covered himself with clothing and he was not able to get warm. Now, what does it mean? Why wasn't he able to get warm? What does that mean? Usually clothes warm you. What are you saying, Michal?
Disrespected clothing.
Oh, when did he disrespect clothing? Because it says in the pasuk, "Ve'ekom David lichrot knaf me'il asher leShaul balat." Right? He was in the cave. He wanted to prove to Shaul he could have killed him, so he cut off the corner of his garment. Rabbi Yossi ben Chanina says, "Megar Masechet Brachot, kol mevazel begadim, sof eino ne'eneh mehem." Whoever disgraces clothing, in the end, he will not be able to benefit from that. And our pasuk is the proof. What does that mean to disrespect clothing? Rabbi Nachman writes that a person very much has to take care of his clothing. It means not to get dirty, not to let it get stained, to look presentable, not to look schlumpy, not to look. People should look at Jews and say, "Look how they look like a mess, a slop." And they don't look like the prince and the princesses of Hashem's chosen people, right? God forbid. So, but at the same time, the Rambam writes we're not supposed to look like kings, right? We don't have to wear exquisitely. We don't walk around with capes, like a cape, looking like a royalty all day, to get people's attention overtly. That's not the point. The point is, you should. I heard someone say, the British say, you should be the best dressed person in the room, but no one should notice you. Yeah, that person should look very put together, but at the same time, nobody should notice you. Meaning, you shouldn't call anybody's attention overtly. So therefore, a person should take care of his clothing, because Rabbi Nachman says their clothing represents our malchut. Our malchut is our authority, our emunah. And we know that Adam Rishon, the second he had a lapse in emunah and he didn't follow God's directive of not eating from the tree of knowledge, he became naked and he kind of became embarrassed. So he decided to wear clothing. So you see, clothing is associated with a person's emunah and a lapse of emunah, hasa shalom. So a person has to take care of his clothing. So what do the officers of the king say? What advice do they give? We should give the melech na'ara betula. We should give her a young maidservant, a young woman. It should be that she will warm you. She will warm you. What'd you say, Amner?
Where did that idea come from?
Right.
Body warmth.
Yeah, that wife specifically get his wife to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it says over here. Yeah, we have to see the commentaries. What is this? David HaMelech, he needs this is what he needs. Maybe pray, do teshuvah, do a big mitzvah. This is the first thing that comes to mind. Very interesting. Okay, fine. So I guess you could say that since he realized the decree of the punishment was that clothes is not going to warm him, so what is he supposed to do? So the next thing that can warm is either fire or body heat. So he felt it's more practical to have. You can't have a fire in your room. Imagine back in the day, right? Way back when we didn't have. You had fireplaces, right? People would sleep next to the fire, next to the pechka in the winter. But David HaMelech's room, what, you're going to bring a pechka there? You're going to bring a fire in there? It's not so practical. So therefore, what did he do? They said the most practical thing is to bring body heat. Okay, so what happens? And they went, they tried to find the very beautiful woman for him. And who is that? Et Avishag Hashunamit. They bring Avishag. Avishag, the Shunammite woman. Okay. So she was very beautiful, the Torah says. V'nara yafa. She nara yafa.
Goya.
Oh, good. It's a good point. We're going to see her lineage in a second. So what happened was, the Gemara says in the Sanhedrin, Amar b'Hanina bar Papa, Adayin lo yagia lachatzi yofi shel Sarah. It was only as half as beautiful as Sarah Yemenu. Because it says by our pasuk, Nara yafa, and by Sarah it says, Vayu mitzrim et isha, ki yafa hi meod. Meod, it uses the word meod by Sarah Yemenu. So it shows that she's not even half. Okay. It says he did not have a relationship with her. They weren't physical. Why? Because it's interesting. Rashi quotes Gemara Sanhedrin. It says, number one, Betula yafa lechamem min beula. You hear this? Michal, the betula warms more than the beula. Beula is the woman who was already with man. The betula warms more than beula.
Experience.
And then he says, Chazal say also he couldn't marry her because David already had 18 wives, and the Torah says a king cannot have more than 18 wives. So he wasn't allowed to be. It was purely for warmth. It was not anything more than that.
What about Shlomo? He had more than 18 wives.
Yeah, that's a big question. That's a big problem. All the commentators ask that question on Shlomo Melech. Yeah. ואדוניה בן חגית מתעשה לו מענים לוך ויעשה לו רכב פרשים 50 איש ויעצם לפניו. So what happened? Now you have Adoniah ben Chagit. He has Gava now, and he says, I'm going to be the king. Ani imloch. So what happened? The Gemara Sanhedrin says that he actually took David's crown, he tried to put it on, velo holamto. It didn't fit. It wouldn't go. It's like, whoop, whoop. It didn't go on his head. He said, Ani imloch, and he thought it would work, and it didn't work.
It's his son. I don't know.
Yeah. So what happened? He made a rechev, he made a wagon, and 50 people would run in front of him. Meaning to give himself honor, he already started acting like he's the king. So now the Gemara says, interesting, in Sanhedrin, he says, what does it mean there's 50 men running in front of him? Why does the Torah have to tell us this? He says, we always have people pulling the wagons. He says, these people, they had all of them had their spleens removed. Why? Because people who used to be runners and have to have long endurance, they used to go through this voluntary surgery to get their spleen removed. He says, and that way you would be able to run for longer. And then, meaning the spleen removes weight from the body also, right? And he says, and they used to do a certain treatment to the bottom of their feet so they could be able to run over any terrain. They used to go and condition their feet and make it callousy. Yeah. They would toughen their feet so they could run over any spikes or anything. So he got a very fancy special troop to run in front of his wagon. Yeah, doctor, does that make sense? Spleen removed, it makes you run faster? Yeah, it makes sense?
No.
The blood pumps into it as too fast.
So the spleen breaks down blood.
Okay.
If you have more blood, you have more oxygen.
Okay, there you go. See, now it makes sense. ולא עצבו אביהם מימיו, אמר מדוע ככה עשית, וגם הוא טוב, תואר מאוד, ואותו ידע אחרי אבשלום. So David HaMelech, in the last book, he had Avshalom, right? And now we had a whole story because his mom was Yefat Toar. So it ended up being that the Yefat Toar and Ben Sor and Moreh are next to each other in the Torah. Whoever has Yefat Toar will end up having a Ben Sor and Moreh. But now he has Adoniah, who also does the same story. He also wants to be king. He also makes a rebellion. And his father was very saddened by this. His father was saying, why do you do this? And he was very handsome. And I gave birth to you after Avshalom. I thought it's going to be good. And now you make me problems. So now, there's the pasuk Zvei Dvarav Yoav Etzeruya V'Miyatar Kohen. So he speaks to his general Yoav and V'Yatar the Kohen. He's like, listen, what are we going to do with this guy? צדק כהן בניהו בן יהוידע, ונתן הנביא, ושמי ורעי והגיבורים של דוד לא היו עם אדוניהו. Baruch Hashem, David's entourage, David's group is still loyal to David. All these people mentioned, they're still on David's team. Okay. Good. So now, ויזבח עדיון צאן, ובקר, מרי, עם אבן הזוחלת, שאצל אין רוגל, ויקרא את כל אחד בני המלך, כל אנשי יהודה בני המלך. Okay, so he makes a bunch of sacrifices, and he goes and he brings a bunch of people to support him, and נתן נביא, בניהו, בני גיבורים, ושלמה, אחיו, לא קרא. נתב לנביא, Banayahu and the mighty soldiers, but Shlomo, his brother, he didn't call. ויאמר נתן אל בת שבע עם שלמה לאמור הלא שמעת כי מלאך אדוניה בן חגית אדוננו דוד לא ידע. Now they're saying that Adoniyahu already declared himself king. He has a big following. David doesn't know what's going on. So therefore what? בת שבע, אתה לכי, go. ועצה נא עצה מלתי את נפשך ונפש בנך שלמה. He says, now Shlomo, your son, and you are in danger because he's going to kill you now. He's becoming serious, and he's going to start killing off people who are a threat to his throne. So you guys got to get out of here. You guys got to run away. Lechi uboy el David marante elav. Go give a message to David that what's happening, and he has to go and do something. Halo ata adoni hamelech nishbat la'amatech lemor ki Shlomo benech yimloch acharai v'hu yoshev al kisi mado malach Adoniyahu. And if to remind David of his promise, what was David's promise? David's promise was, who's going to be the king after him? Shlomo. So therefore, he told Bathsheba, go and guard your son very careful. Because he knows that he made this promise, and he has to be reminded of him, he has to squash this, because David, he's a soft spot, because it's his son. Last time Avshalom, he didn't do nothing for a long time. He ran away. He even went on the mountain. He said, let me go do Avodah Zarah, pretend like I'm doing Avodah Zarah. That way people shouldn't say, oh, look at David, what kind of son he has that came out of him. I'll be a sinner, and then it will make sense that I have a son like this. But he has to squash this now, because we have to have Shlomo as the king. Baruch Naolam.